the general craziness of cryptocurrency throughout my life, I've always had a partial interest in what it is and how it works. Now recently, there's been a lot of news in the cryptocurrency world about Ethereum 2.0, which is essentially the next version of Ethereum, a popular cryptocurrency. And Ethereum 2.0 essentially aims to be more scalable, more secure, and more sustainable? Okay, well, if it's aiming to be more sustainable, then that suggests that currently cryptocurrency is unsustainable. And the Ethereum developers admit that. They say that technology today requires too much computing power and energy. So since I'm pretty uneducated about the topic of the environmental impacts of cryptocurrency, I thought it'd be a good idea to do some research and kind of figure some of this out. But before we get into more of how crypto impacts the environment, I think it's probably better to first start in explaining what crypto even is. So I'm not really sure where to start this explanation, but we're going to start it right at the beginning. The blockchain. What is the blockchain? Because the main idea of this video isn't the blockchain, I'll give you the short version. Essentially, the blockchain is a decentralized database that stores information. Information on the blockchain is publicly available, users are anonymous, and records are secure as well as irreversible. Now, what does this have to do with crypto? Well, blockchain was essentially the system that was created to serve as the transaction ledger for Bitcoin, which was the first cryptocurrency. And ever since, it's kind of been like the main transaction ledger for all cryptocurrencies as well as NFTs. And the blockchain is what gives cryptocurrency two of its best qualities: security and
Anonymity.
Yeah, what he said. Compared to what we know as traditional currency, cryptocurrencies are obviously pretty new. But after Bitcoin exploded in popularity in 2011, they've been at the forefront of what currency may look like in the future. If you're a fan of making it rain though, tough luck, because crypto is only virtual. That means that at the moment, like, there's no physical crypto token that you can go and withdraw. There's also like very few places you can actually go and use crypto to buy things. And mainly what most people use crypto for is to exchange it for actual liquid currency. As a result, most cryptocurrencies have functioned like a stock and have been infamous for being extremely volatile. In 2021, for instance, Bitcoin lost 30% of its value in under a month. Its volatility can be attributed to the fact that Bitcoin isn't based on anything. There's nothing that backs up its value. Its worth is entirely speculative and is dependent upon how much value people assign to it. So it's basically just a demand thing. Like, if more people demand it, then it's more valuable. But people still really like crypto. There are hundreds of thousands of crypto transactions every day. This is mostly investors trying to make money, which has worked in many cases as well as not worked in just as many, probably more cases. Again, going back to the blockchain, like, people really like the blockchain. Like, it's this kind of form of currency that lives in the cloud. You know, anybody can see cryptocurrency when it's used for a transaction, but nobody can alter it or see the people using it. So yeah, while that does, kind of make it perfect for criminal transactions, it's also a lot more protected against hackers than using a credit or debit card would be. Well, okay, so people make a lot of money off crypto. It's a volatile currency, but it's also secure as well as completely virtual. So what's the catch? What's the problem with crypto? Like, on the surface, it just sounds like a really risky stock that people with lots of money and very optimistic people flock to. What is the harm of giving value to something that doesn't exist in the real world? Well, in this case, the main problem is mining.
Not that kind of mining.
So cryptocurrency mining is a concept that Bitcoin, as the first crypto coin, started. How it works is that miners use their computers to process transactions made on the blockchain, producing blocks. This producing of blocks involves a proof of work system in which the computer solves a puzzle of sorts in order to validate whatever transaction it's processing. Multiple miners can be working on the same puzzle at the same time, and whichever miner's computer solves the puzzle first receives new cryptocurrency after the result is validated by the system. And this doesn't sound any more harmful than the energy usage of, watching TV or playing video games. However, this is where competition comes in. Due to the fact that the price of Bitcoin is proportional to the amount of mining operations, it's also true that if more computers are mining, the validation puzzle gets more difficult, and therefore you're incentivized to basically buy really powerful computers. And if you have millions of really powerful computers working at around the clock trying to validate these virtual puzzles in order to get Bitcoin, then you have a scenario in which there's going to be a lot of electricity used just for this one purpose of mining cryptocurrency. But the amount of electricity that they do use may be far beyond what you expect. According to the University of Cambridge, Bitcoin mining alone consumes 121.36 terawatt hours a year. That is more electricity than the entire country of Argentina uses in a year. Factoring in Bitcoin transactions as well as the energy consumption from Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies, the amount of electricity that cryptocurrencies use is very, very high. This is a large controversy of cryptocurrencies because it could be argued that all of this energy, all of this electricity that is used to power mining operations is essentially driving an industry that doesn't have any intrinsic value in it. If people decided one day, unanimously, that Bitcoin was worthless, then it would immediately lose all value and people would stop mining it. Like, crypto doesn't have the same guarantee of stored value that normal money has. So that brings us to the big question. Is crypto worth it? Like, even with the increased security, lack of transaction fees, and possible high returns, its volatility and negative environmental impacts are factors that are impossible to ignore. The answer to this question would obviously heavily depend upon who you are asking. You will get very different answers from crypto investors and nature advocates. And it's very difficult to find a definitive answer as to whether or not the benefits of crypto outweigh the negatives. However, I do want to go back to the fact that the Ethereum developers themselves are, working on a new version of Ethereum. They have been working on this new version of Ethereum for a while, and one of the main goals of that is to improve sustainability. So the fact that the developers themselves of a cryptocurrency acknowledge that their coin is causing a negative externality on society, that society doesn't really demand enough Ethereum to justify the amount of electricity that it uses, clearly shows to me that crypto in its current form is not really worth it. The focus of the Ethereum developers in getting Ethereum 2.0 out shows that in order for crypto to proceed to the future, if it really wants to replace our current currency system, it has to change. The fact is that it can't continue to be its volatile, power-hungry self if it really wants to be a sustainable and viable option for currency. I think that cryptocurrency can easily get to a point in which nature advocates and investors will be on the same page about it. The fact is that there is a lot of opportunity in cryptocurrency, but at the moment, people just have to realize that maybe the Bitcoin model is not the ideal form of cryptocurrency. When you look at stablecoin, for instance, a cryptocurrency that is actually backed up by assets, you can see that actually working as a viable, something to put your money in and trust the fact that this is not gonna just explode and I'm not gonna lose all of my money. In short, cryptocurrency uses way too much energy in order to justify its existence, basically. It really doesn't need to change, which is why I think it'll be very interesting seeing the progression of this Ethereum 2.0 thing and seeing how maybe other cryptocurrencies react, and if other developers try to follow Ethereum and make their cryptocurrency just as sustainable as the new Ethereum is supposed to be. And yeah, so that's all for today. So if you want to be environmentally conscious, I would suggest at the moment, don't do cryptocurrency.